Hello, my name is Natasha Williams. I'm an attorney advisor at the El Paso Immigration Court, which is part of the Department of Justice's Executive Office for Immigration Review, also known as EOIR or EOIR. EOIR created this video for you as part of our model hearing program, also known as MHP, a program designed to help you get a better idea of what to expect when representing a non-citizen in hearings before EOIR. Please note that this video is actually part 3 of a 3-part series. I encourage you to head back to our channel and watch the introductory and model master calendar hearing videos if you have not already done so, as they provide some foundational information that will provide context while viewing this video. I also encourage you to review the mock record of proceedings created for this case prior to watching the model hearing. The mock record of proceedings, commonly referred to as ROP or ROPE, is available on I-Corps and contains a Form I-862, known as a Notice to Appear, which is a document that the Department of Homeland Security issues to individuals and files with the Immigration Court to start immigration proceedings. It also contains a Form I-213, titled Record of Deportable or Inadmissible Alien, which DHS uses to set out allegations about the individual's status as a non-citizen of the United States and the individual's removability. You will also find in the mock ROP the respondent's filing, which contains the respondent's Form I-589, the application for asylum and for withholding of removal, and some supporting documents. Please note, while reviewing the ROP, that there are not sample documents for all items of supporting evidence that would be included in the respondent's filing. Instead, there is an annotated table of contents, which identifies each document included in the filing and, where needed, explains the content you would expect to find in each document. Many respondents in immigration court identify a language other than English for proceedings, and EOIR will provide an interpreter so each respondent can participate in proceedings in the language they best understand. In this video, there is no interpreter. You see the respondent wearing a headset like those used for simultaneous interpretation, and you will hear the immigration judge introduce a court interpreter and speak to the respondent as though an interpreter were participating. But again, there is no interpreter present in the recording. We included this piece to provide you with a sense for how the immigration judge would interact with the respondent when using an interpreter. To best grasp the idea of how the interpreter would perform their role in the proceedings, try to visualize that the interpreter is simultaneously interpreting everything said during the proceedings through the respondent's headset. Also understand that a respondent speaking through an interpreter would be answering in their native language to allow the interpreter to then interpret the respondent's words into English for the court record. Now, before we begin the hearing, a quick disclaimer. Information provided in this video is intended solely as an educational resource for legal advocates to improve the quality of advocacy before the immigration courts. Information presented does not replace case law or any EOIR policy or publication, and may not be construed to create or limit any rights enforceable by law. Information provided as part of the MHP, either in writing or spoken, is not legal advice and does not constitute any legal opinion by the Department of Justice or the Department of Homeland Security. The case scenarios included in the MHP are fictional. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or actual cases is purely coincidental. Nothing in this video or its associated materials should be construed as mandating a particular outcome in any specific case. The individual hearing modeled in this video is for John Doe, the respondent, who was a native and citizen of Nicaragua. In April of 2018, when Mr. Doe was a university student, the Sandinista government announced Social Security reforms. In response to the announcement, Mr. Doe began participating in peaceful anti-government protests with friends and classmates. During the period between April 2018 and June 2018, government supporters physically harmed Mr. Doe at a protest where police were present, and the respondent was twice detained and interrogated by Nicaraguan police. Mr. Doe eventually completely stopped participating in and providing aid to the protest. But Nicaraguan police did not stop looking for him, including going to his home. Fearing that he would no longer be safe at home, Mr. Doe fled to the United States and entered by crossing the Rio Grande near Laredo, Texas. Mr. Doe is seeking asylum in the United States based on the claim that he has been and will be persecuted in Nicaragua on account of his political opinion. Let's rejoin Mr. Doe and begin our individual hearing.
Transcriber, we are on the record. Today's date is October 28th, 2021. This is United States Immigration Judge Laura Piero sitting in Newark, New Jersey. These are continued removal proceedings in the matter of John Doe, case number 123-456-789. The respondent is present in court today with counsel. Counsel, please state your appearance for the record.
Priya Ahmed for the respondent, Your Honor.
Thank you. And for the government?
Natasha Williams for the Department of Homeland Security.
Good afternoon to you both.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
To the respondent, good afternoon, sir. At the last hearing, you designated Spanish as your best language. Do you still wish to continue in the Spanish language today?
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Yes, I do.
Based on the respondent's answer, today's hearing will be interpreted into and from the Spanish language. Isabel Interpreter is the official interpreter for the Immigration Court who will be providing Spanish interpretation and need not be sworn in. To the respondent, can you hear the interpreter clearly?
Yes.
Do you understand the interpreter?
Yes.
If at any point in time you have any difficulty hearing or understanding the interpreter, please let me know immediately.
Yes, thank you.
At this time, I'm going to ask you to please stand and raise your right hand in order to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you will provide in these proceedings will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. You may be seated. Can I ask you please to state your full and true name for the record?
John Doe.
Thank you. Now, at the last hearing, you told me that it is proper to call you Mr. Doe. Is it still appropriate to call you Mr. Doe?
Yes.
Thank you. And are you still living at 1539 Landover Road, Newark, New Jersey, 07101, with the phone number of 987-654-3210?
Yes.
Now, today you have appeared with Ms. Priyam Ahmed, who is seated next to you. Do you still wish for Ms. Priyam Ahmed to be your attorney and represent you today?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you. Very good. Now, we are here today for the merits of the respondent's application for relief from removal. Specifically before the court is the respondent's application for asylum, withholding of removal under the Immigration and Nationality Act, and protection under the United Nations Convention Against Torture. To the government, are the biometrics current and up to date?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then we may proceed. The court has a number of documents in the record, which it will now mark for identification. Previously marked as Exhibit 1 for identification is the Form I-862, Notice to Appear, which is dated August 18, 2018. Exhibit 2 for identification is the Non-Citizens Form I-213, which is titled Record of Deportable or Inadmissible Alien. Finally, Exhibit 3 is the respondent's application for asylum, withholding of removal, and protection under the UN Convention Against Torture, along with supporting documents, indexed in tabs as tabs A through N, which includes the respondent's I-589, proof of biometrics completion, the respondent's identity documents, the respondent's personal statement, supporting documentation, and background materials. Does either party have any objections to Exhibits 1 through 3 for identification?
Yes, Your Honor. The department asked that you would give diminished weight to any declarations authored by persons who are not available for cross-examination.
I see declarations by the respondent's neighbor and mother at Exhibit 3, tab G and H. Are those the ones that you're referring to?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. The objection goes to weight and not admissibility. The court will admit the documents and give them the appropriate weight. Are there any other objections or evidence to be filed by the parties?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you have any changes to make to the respondent's application for asylum under Exhibit 3A?
No, Your Honor.
To the respondent, I have received and reviewed your application for asylum. Do you know the document I'm referring to?
Yes.
Did someone fluent in English and Spanish help you complete the form?
Yes.
Are you familiar with the contents of your asylum application?
Yes.
Do you have any changes to make to that application?
No, Your Honor.
Are you familiar with the documents filed in support of your asylum application?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you are determined to have knowingly made a frivolous application for asylum, you will be permanently ineligible for any benefits under the Immigration and Nationality Act, and that you may not avoid a frivolous finding simply because someone advised you to provide false information in your asylum application?
I understand.
I have previously provided counsel with a copy of the asylum application under Exhibit 3A. Could you kindly show it to the respondent? Sir, I am now going to ask you to sign your application to certify that everything is true and correct. Do you swear or affirm that the contents of this application, including the documents submitted in support of the application, are true and correct to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, I do.
Can you please sign your name by the X? And now, counsel, if you can approach for the court signature. Thank you. I am now going to be signing a copy of the application as well to establish that the respondent acknowledged knowing the contents of the application and that everything is true.
Thanks.
Thank you. You can resume your seat. I have not seen a witness list filed by either party, so my understanding is that the respondent will be the sole testifying witness today. Is that correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
Have the parties had the opportunity to discuss the case and narrow any issues?
Yes, Your Honor. The parties agree that there is no one-year issue in this case.
Very good. To the respondent, we will be taking your testimony now. You will be asked a series of questions, first by your attorney, then by the attorney for the Department of Homeland Security. If you do not understand a question, it is very important that you let us know so that we can explain it or say it in a different way. If you do not know or remember the answer to a question, please say that you do not know or you do not remember. Please do not guess. Also, please answer all of the questions with your voice. If you shake your head without using your voice, I might not know what you mean, and also we need to hear your voice so that we can record your answer. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Also, please remember that we are using an interpreter today, so you will want to speak slowly and clearly. It is important for us to understand everything that you need to tell us. So please, if you have a long answer to a question, take breaks during your answer so that the interpreter can interpret your answer without missing anything. The interpreter may raise a hand to ask you to pause for a moment. If at any point in time you do not understand the interpreter, again, please let us know.
Okay.
Counsel for respondent, if you are ready, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I make a brief opening statement?
You may.
Thank you. The respondent came to the United States because he was the victim of persecution on account of his political opinion. He timely applied for asylum and has no bars to asylum. He continues to have a well-founded fear of persecution if he returns to Nicaragua. He also merits relief as a matter of discretion. For these reasons, the respondent respectfully requests that you grant his application for asylum under INA Section 208.
Thank you. To the government?
No opening statement needed, Your Honor.
All right, so then we're ready to proceed with direct examination. I'm going to ask the respondent to please take the witness stand.
Good afternoon. Would you please state your name for the record?
Good afternoon. My name is John Doe,
Where are you from?
Nicaragua.
What is your highest level of education?
I was studying political science and public management at my university.
Did you graduate?
No.
Why not?
I had problems with the government in Nicaragua and I had to leave.
When did your problems begin?
In April 2018,
What happened in April 2018?
I had been frustrated with President Ortega and the Sandinista government, and I hit a tipping point when they announced Social Security reforms that were really unfair.
What, if anything, did you do as a result of your frustrations?
I began protesting.
When was the first protest that you participated in?
April 18, 2018.
What did protesting involve?
I would join with other protesters and would hold signs and chant.
What did your signs and chants say?
Things like shame on you, Ortega resign now, and no austerity measures.
What were you wearing to the protest?
A white t-shirt and jeans.
I am showing you some photographs which are marked as Exhibit 3I. Do you recognize them?
Sir, if you could kindly view the monitor, they are going to be coming on screen.
Yes, that's me in the photo.
You said that you joined with other protesters, and we can see others in the photos from the protest. Who were the other protesters?
I went with some of my friends and classmates from school, and there were other people from the community protesting as well, and the Sandinista youth were there counter-protesting.
Who are the Sandinista youth?
They're a youth group that strongly supports President Ortega.
What happened at that first protest?
My group was peaceful, and we just showed our signs and chanted our messages. And the rest of the anti-government protesters that I saw were also peaceful. But the Sandinista youth were violent. They began throwing rocks at us.
Did the rocks hit anyone?
Yes, I saw several people who were hit, and then I was hit too.
Please describe where the rock hit you.
Right here.
For the record, I'm noting that the respondent is currently placing his left hand on top of his left side of his head near his forehead. Counsel, you can continue.
What did you feel after the rock hit your head?
My head hurt where it hit me, and I felt cloudy, dizzy.
Did you stay at the protest after you began feeling cloudy and dizzy?
No, I didn't. One of my friends grabbed my hand after I was hit and led me out of the crowd, and a few of them helped me get home.
Did you seek medical attention for your injury?
Yes, I went to my doctor.
What was the doctor's diagnosis?
I had a mild concussion.
What were the symptoms you were having, and how long did they last?
I had a headache, and I felt nauseated for a few days before I got better.
Did you go to the police about the Sandinista youth throwing a rock at you?
No, I didn't.
Why didn't you go to the police?
Because they saw it happen, and they didn't do anything.
What do you mean when you say that the police saw it happen?
Well, there were police officers there at the protest. They saw the Sandinista youth throwing rocks at us, but they didn't stop them.
Did you attend any other protests after that?
Yes.
How many?
I don't know how many exactly. Right after the first one, I was going to protest once or twice a week. And then things got more violent, and I started having problems with the police, so I had to stop.
What do you mean when you say that you started having problems with the police?
In early May, I was on my way to a protest when the police stopped me and took me to the police station to ask me questions.
That was early May 2018, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Was anyone with you when the police stopped you in early May 2018?
No, I was alone.
Do you know why the police stopped you?
I don't know. I was just walking with my sign, and they stopped me and told me to go with them to the police station.
How did you get to the police station?
In the police car.
What happened at the police station?
They held me there and questioned me about the demonstrations. They wanted to know what group I was with and told me I needed to stop demonstrating because it was going to create problems.
What did you say when they asked you what group you were with?
I told them I wasn't part of any group, really. It was just students and community members protesting.
Do you belong to any political parties?
No, I don't. I'm against the Sandinista government, but I'm not part of any formal political party or anything.
You mentioned that the police told you that you needed to stop demonstrating because it was going to create problems. What did you understand that to mean?
Well, at the time, I didn't really know what to think. I knew it sounded bad, but I didn't know what to think.
Did the police physically harm you while they detained you?
That time, no.
How long were you detained?
About 6 hours.
What led to you being released?
Nothing. They just let me go.
Did you continue participating in protests after you were detained?
Yes.
Did anything happen at any of the protests that you attended?
Yes, things got even more violent. There were gunshots at one of them.
When was the protest where you heard gunshots?
May 30th, 2018.
What was happening at the protest before you heard the gunshots?
Well, there were a lot of people there. It was about 500,000 people protesting against the government. Everything was pretty calm, and I had gone with Juana to use the bathroom, but then all of a sudden there were these gunshots.
Who is Juana?
My younger sister,
What country is Juana in right now?
and she's here in the United States.
Why isn't Juana here in court to testify?
She's too afraid, and she has school.
Going back, what did you do after you heard the gunshots?
We ran away and went home.
You didn't go back to the protest?
No, we were too afraid.
Did you go to any protests after that?
No, it was too much. I tried to be brave and keep going after I got her, but guns are too much, and I couldn't go back there with how afraid my sister was. I didn't want her to go to other protests and have her worrying about me.
So was that the end of your involvement with the protests?
No, I was still involved, but to a lesser degree. I still wanted to support the cause, so I was gathering supplies and packing lunches for my classmates who kept protesting. I thought that would be safe.
Was it safe?
It didn't turn out to be.
What do you mean?
Well, the police stopped me again when I was trying to drop things off to the protesters.
Do you remember when that was?
Late June?
That's late June of 2018?
Yes.
What happened when the police stopped you in late June of 2018?
Well, they kept me in a holding cell for 2 days and interrogated me.
How many officers were interrogating you?
I don't know. It was different numbers at different times, like 2 or 3 at a time.
How many times were you interrogated?
3 times.
Do you remember what they were saying and asking you?
It's hard to remember. I was mostly focused on how much I was hurting. I remember they kept asking me about the protests and screaming at me. Telling me I was doing illegal activities and that I should admit it.
You mentioned that you were hurting. Why were you in pain?
They were beating me
Can you describe how they were beating you?
with their fists.
Did they use any other parts of their bodies to beat you?
No, I think it was fists. It felt like fists.
Where on your body did they beat you with their fists?
All over. My body, my head, anywhere where I wasn't covering.
I want to go back to what the officers were saying to you about illegal activities. Did you know why they were asking you about illegal activities?
No, I didn't know. I didn't understand. I protested against the government, but it was peaceful.
Did they explain what the illegal activity was that they were accusing you of?
No, they just kept telling me to confess.
Did you confess to engaging in illegal activities?
No, I didn't have anything to confess to.
How did that detention come to an end?
Well, after 2 days, they just let me go.
Did the police explain why you were being let go?
No.
What was the process like for being released?
They took me out of the cell, copied my documents, and put me outside on the street.
Do you know what documents they copied?
My identification cards.
What happened after you were released?
I had to find my way home.
And what happened once you got home?
My mother took me to the doctor.
What symptoms were you experiencing when you went to the doctor?
I felt dizzy, nauseated again, and I was very weak and sore.
Do you know why you felt so weak?
From the beatings and from not having eaten or had water.
Why had you not eaten or had water?
They didn't give me any when they detained me.
The police officers did not give you any food or water for the 2 days that they detained you?
That's correct.
What was the doctor's diagnosis?
The doctor said I was dehydrated and that I had another concussion.
What was the treatment?
The doctor gave me an IV to give me some fluids and told me to rest at home for a week.
Did you continue aiding the protests after your second detention?
No, I mostly stayed at home.
Why did you stop aiding the protests after your second detention?
It wasn't safe. I wanted to be there, or at least to help, because it's important to me. But I kept hearing things about how the police and the paramilitary were shooting to disrupt the protesters, and about how they had killed 2 students who were sheltering in a church. They could have been me or my friends.
Did anything else happen to you in Nicaragua before you left?
About a month after I was detained, some police officers went looking for me at my home.
What happened when the police officers went to your home?
Well, I wasn't there, so they spoke with my mother.
Do you know what the police wanted?
I don't know exactly, but from what my mother told me, I think they wanted me to go to the police station and sign a declaration or confess to illegal activities or something.
Did you go to the police station like they wanted?
No. Well, like I said, I wasn't home. My mother told them she didn't know where I had gone, but that I wasn't there. They just left.
So you didn't go to the police station even though you knew that the police wanted you to go?
No, I was too afraid. I did not feel safe after what had already happened to me the last time. They could kill me if they found me again.
Why did you leave Nicaragua?
I was afraid the police would hurt me or kill me. They had already hurt me, and they knew where I lived. I couldn't stay there.
When did you leave Nicaragua?
We left on August 3rd, 2018.
Who was with you when you left Nicaragua?
Juana.
Do you know if anything has happened to your family since you left Nicaragua?
Nothing has happened to my family, thank God, but the police have come looking for me.
How do you know that the police have gone looking for you?
They went to my home and spoke with my mother again.
Since you left Nicaragua, how many times have the police gone looking for you at your home?
3 times.
What are you doing now in the United States?
I've been working as a dishwasher at a restaurant, and I'm taking English classes so I can try and go back to school eventually.
And what are your goals for the future?
Well, I hope I'll be able to make enough money so Juana and I can have our own house and we can have a good life here. I really want to finish my degree so I can teach political theory and practice.
What do you think would happen if you returned to Nicaragua?
I think I would be arrested and tortured again by the police or the government. They can even kill me or make me disappear. And if I decide to go to protests again, I'm afraid that the police or the paramilitary groups or the Sandinista youth will target the peaceful protesters and that I will be hurt or killed.
No further questions at this time.
Thank you. Cross-examination?
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'm the attorney for the government, and I'm going to ask you some questions today. Other than the 2 detentions that you told us about, were you ever arrested or detained in Nicaragua?
No.
Have you ever been arrested or detained in the United States or anywhere else in the world?
Just by immigration in the United States.
You testified that the police in Nicaragua accused you of engaging in illegal activities. Were you ever formally charged with any crimes?
No.
Did the police ask you if you were part of a political party while they were interrogating you?
Not exactly. They kept asking me what group I was with that was protesting against the government, but they didn't say political party.
To confirm, the police did ask you about groups and about illegal activities,
Yes.
but the police did not ask you about political parties.
No, they didn't.
And you were not a part of any political parties?
No, just against the government.
Do you have any proof of the injuries that you told us about?
I have the medical records from my doctor in Nicaragua.
Counsel for respondent, can you identify those for the record?
Exhibit 3, Tab J, Your Honor.
Thank you. Government, you may continue.
You don't have any photographs of your injuries from April 18th, 2018, correct?
No, I just had the concussion. There wasn't anything to photograph.
Did you have any visible injuries from your second detention when you were beaten for 2 days?
Yes, I had bruises.
But you haven't provided any photographs of those bruises.
No.
One moment, please. Mr. Doe, why do you not have any photographs of the second detention?
I didn't think to take any. I was traumatized and focused on trying to recover.
Thank you. Counsel, go ahead.
If you return to Nicaragua, could you go somewhere else in Nicaragua besides Managua to avoid problems?
No, they would find me.
Who would find you?
The government or the police.
How would they be able to find you?
If I'm on a flight, the police or the government will know I'm on a plane to Nicaragua, and I'll never have the chance to walk free in Nicaragua again.
How would the police or the government know that you were on a plane to Nicaragua?
I don't know. They just know these things. I've heard that people who applied for asylum and went back were immediately arrested.
Do you have any documents to show that people who have applied for asylum and went back to Nicaragua were immediately arrested?
No, I've just heard it. It's something that just happens and people know about.
And the police who interrogated you during your second detention were also local police?
Yes.
You previously indicated that nothing has happened to your family since you left Nicaragua, correct?
No, nothing has happened to them, thank God.
And nothing happened to your family members while you were in Nicaragua, correct?
No, but I'm the only one who has spoken out against the government.
Did Juana ever speak out against the government?
No, she was a child.
Why did you take a child to the protest on May 30th, 2018, if you were afraid for your physical safety at the protest?
I knew that there would be a lot of families going, so I thought it would be safe.
Why did Juana leave Nicaragua with you?
My family was afraid that Juana would be hurt if she stayed.
If your family has not spoken out against the government and they've not been hurt, why would Juana be different?
They may know that she's my sister and try to hurt her because she's associated with me. They may have even seen us together at the protests.
Do you know if the police asked about Juana when they went looking for you at your home?
I don't know.
Is Juana also applying for asylum?
Yes, I believe so.
Why did you not offer your sister Juana as a witness in your case?
Like I said, she's too afraid and she has school today. I have a letter from my mom and from my neighbor.
Why did you not get a letter from Juana as well?
I guess I didn't think about it.
Do any of the friends and classmates you protested with still live in Nicaragua?
I think so, yes.
Do you know if anything has happened to any of them since you left Nicaragua?
I don't know. I'm not in touch with them at this point.
Since you've worked in the United States, have you filed taxes?
Yes, I pay my taxes.
Do you have any proof that you filed taxes?
No, but they take it from my check. I don't make very much money, so I got a refund.
No further questions at this time, Your Honor.
Any redirect?
Briefly, Your Honor. Why would the government target you if you are not part of a political party or group?
Because they know I'm against the government, because of what I've been saying.
Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
Is there anything further from either party?
May I make a closing argument, Your Honor?
One moment. Sir, at this time, you can step down and go back and be seated with your attorney. Any further evidence from the government?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Thank you. Then the court is going to consider the evidentiary portion of this hearing now closed. Please proceed with your closing argument. Counsel for the respondent.
Your Honor, Mr. Doe asks that you grant his application for asylum. First, the parties agreed that Mr. Doe filed a timely application for asylum. Further, Mr. Doe testified credibly about being persecuted by the police in Nicaragua on account of his political opinion and provided significant corroborative evidence to support the claims. Mr. Doe respectfully requests that you grant his application for asylum. Thank you.
Thank you, counsel. Government, any closing?
The department will rest on the record.
Very good. Then the record is now closed. Thank you to each of the parties. To the respondent, at this time, the court is going to reserve this decision to provide a written decision at a later date. The decision will then be sent to your attorney and to the government. I must once again remind you that it is very important that you stay in contact with your attorney and update your attorney with your current address if you move. Further, if you disagree with my decision, you may file an appeal with the Board of Immigration Appeals within 30 calendar days from the date of my decision. If you do not file a timely appeal, my decision will become final. Is there anything further from either party?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you again then to each of the parties. There being nothing further for our record, this court stands adjourned. We're off the record.
The model hearing has ended and the court has adjourned. I hope you learned something from watching the interactions among all of the individuals essential to an immigration court hearing. Of course, every case is unique and each case's factors can impact the flow of the hearing. But this video presents a good view of what you can expect when you represent someone before an immigration judge. Again, if you have not already done so, I do encourage you to watch our related introductory video and model master calendar hearing, which are available on ICOR. EOIR strongly encourages those of you who work in the private sector or for a non-governmental organization to consider representing a respondent pro bono at your local immigration court in the coming weeks and months. Organizations in your area can connect you with opportunities to serve the public in that important way and can provide additional guidance, support, if needed. We also encourage you to take a look at the other pro bono resources we have available on the EOIR website by visiting www.justice.gov/EOIR and on ICOR. If you have any questions after watching this video or after reviewing our other model hearing program resources, please reach out to us at pao.eoir@usdoj.gov. We also welcome your feedback. Thanks again for your interest and attention.